Okay, let's get started. Welcome to the regular monthly meeting of the Board of Commissioners held for the purpose of transacting the general business of the Township. Today's date is August 9th, 2017. The meeting is being held in the Springfield Middle School Library. So please stand and join the Board of Commissioners in a moment of silent reflection honoring the servicemen and women who have placed themselves in harm's way in order to help preserve our safety. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting as written and recorded in the official minute book of the Township.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Ayes have it. Okay. I am taking over for Commissioner Harbison tonight. On the podium, Mr. Harbison is, as we speak, thousands of miles away, and if he's a good boy, he's in bed. So next, and Jim Garrity, our solicitor, is here. Don't see any other former commissioner. Oh, former Commissioner Gillies is in the audience, so acknowledge him. I'd like to make a special announcement. Tonight, I'm announcing that the Board of Commissioners will be conducting an executive session meeting directly following the conclusion of the business meeting this evening. The Board will be discussing a matter of litigation with the Township solicitor. So next we have the public portion of the meeting. The Board is now open to comments or questions from the public. The Board draws particular attention to those items listed on the agenda this evening. Please be advised that once the committee reports begin, the Board can no longer accept questions from the floor. At the conclusion of the committee reports, public comments will again be accepted. However, official action on those issues listed on the agenda will have already taken place. Therefore, if you wish to comment on an agenda item, now would be the appropriate time. Okay, hearing no comments, I will move on to the committee reports. First, I'll give you the August bill listing. I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the July check reconciliation in the amount of $1,424,230.02 and the August bill listing in the amount of $1,458,777.67. And that is my motion. Do I hear-
Second.
Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is it Glenn?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Ayes
Sorry,
have it.
Don, I'll speak up.
Okay, next, I move that the Board of Commissioners approve the subdivision and land development plan for 1400 Willow Grove Avenue. The land development consists of, 1, a plan of consolidation, 2, a subdivision of the consolidated parcel, and 3, a land development for future development. JB Venture 5 LLC proposes to consolidate 2 parcels located at or adjacent to 1400 East Willow Grove Avenue to create a new consolidated lot which will consist of 1.33 acres of land. The newly consolidated parcel will then be subdivided into 3 lots. Lot number 1 will consist of 0.86 acres and includes the existing retired Montessori school that will be converted into 8 apartment units. Lots 2 and 3 will contain 0.22 acres and 0.25 acres respectively, and are proposed to be developed into 2 single-family detached dwellings. The plans consist of 1, a 5-sheet subdivision and land development plan prepared by Protec Engineering, Inc., dated April 28, 2017. 2, a post-construction stormwater management report prepared by Protec Engineering, Inc., dated April 28, 2017. And 3, a trip generation comparison report prepared by Heinrich and Klein Associates, Inc., dated December 18, 2015. The approval is subject to the applicant complying with all matters identified in a letter dated June 16, 2017, from the Township Engineer to the Township Zoning Officer. With the exception of the landscape buffer that is required as a part of Township Code Section 95-11.I.1E. In lieu of the buffer, the applicant shall install a 6-foot-high fence along the rear property line dividing the proposed apartment building from the 2 single-family detached dwellings, and the installation of 3 additional shade trees adjacent to the required 6-foot-high fence. That is my motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Do you have
Aye.
a discussion before we?
Please.
Okay, I just have one question. I know there was, does the current plan show that the driveway that exists now is being retained?
At Montessori School?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is, okay. And we're creating a new driveway for the new parking lot.
It's gonna be a one-way travel in, go to the parking lot, and then travel out the other driveway.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor has it. Please report a unanimous decision. Okay, thank you. Next, flip around here. Next, we will move to the chairman of the Public Works and Facilities Committee, Commissioner Shawn.
Thank you, Commissioner Standish. I have one item this evening. I move that the Board of Commissioners authorize the execution of an agreement with BL Companies Incorporated for additional services required as a part of the initial site characterization tasks to be performed under the Pennsylvania Act 2 program dated August 8, 2017. The cost associated with the additional services shall be incorporated into the base contract dated February 9, 2017. Participation in the Pennsylvania Act 2 program is required to limit environmental liability exposure for the township as it relates to the reuse of the old Tank Car Corporation of America property, 1725 Walnut Avenue, Orland. That's my motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Please record a unanimous decision.
Concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Shawn. Next, we will move to the chairman of the Zoning Committee, Commissioner Daley.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Springfield Township Zoning Hearing Board meeting scheduled for Monday, August 28th, 2017 has been canceled as the Zoning Hearing Board did not receive any applications for the month of August. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Zoning Hearing Board will be Monday, September 25th, 2017 at 7 p.m. in the Springfield Middle School Library. In a related matter, Lorenz Properties LLC, a former petitioner, has formally withdrawn their application before the Zoning Hearing Board as it relates to 400 Bethlehem Pike, Erdenheim. The Board of Commissioners was opposed to the application of Lorenz Properties and authorized the Office of Township Solicitor to represent the interest of the board in opposition to that application. That would be my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Commissioner Daley. Next, we will move on to Chairman of the Cultural Resources Committee, Commissioner Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I'd like to report on the recycling for last month. I'm pleased to announce that during the month of July, Springfield Township residents recycled 180.1 tons of materials with a householder participation rate of 74.9. The net costs for the month was $17,514.16. That concludes my recycling report. I would like to make a motion that the Board of Commissioners appoint J. Bailey Smith of 8331 Elston Drive, Winmore, to serve as an associate member of the Springfield Township Environmental Advisory Commission. That is my motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Please record a unanimous decision.
My third and final report here is regarding the MS4 program, Manor Run. The Office of the Township Engineer is once again in the process of updating the required PA DEP Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System MS4 program document. The Township Engineer will be adding an unnamed tributary
to the Schuylkill River, locally known as Manor Run, to the MS4 program. Residents interested in making comment on the program document as it relates to the Manor Run are encouraged to do so as part of the business meeting of the Board of Commissioners scheduled for September the 13th, 2017. Copies of the program document are available in the temporary Township building, 1200 East Willow Grove Avenue, Winmore. That concludes my reports, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Next, we will move to the Chairman of the Human Resource Committee, Commissioner Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. There is no report this evening.
Thank you, Commissioner Graham. Next, we will move to the co-chairman, they have to fight over this, of the Public Safety Committee, Michael E. Maxwell and Glenn Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I have one announcement this evening, and it's pertaining to tax credits for volunteer firefighters and EMS. Pennsylvania Act 172 of 2016 provides local municipalities an opportunity to provide tax credits for the payment of municipal, not school district, earned income taxes and refunds for the payment of municipal, not school district, real estate taxes to residents who are active volunteers of volunteer fire companies and nonprofit ambulance agencies. The Board of Commissioners is considering a draft ordinance to provide the local tax credits or refunds to the active volunteers, as well as a program criteria to be established locally to define an active volunteer. While the Board of Commissioners will be reviewing the documents, the Volunteer Fire Companies and Ambulance Association, the Board would also like to receive input from the residents of Springfield Township on the tax incentive program. Residents interested in providing input may do so as part of the September 13th, 2017 business meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Based on comment received in September, the Board of Commissioners may consider enactment of an ordinance providing for the tax credits or refunds as a part of the October 11th, 2017 business meeting. That is my announcement, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Maxwell and Shaw. Okay, so that concludes our committee reports. The board is now open to comments or questions from the public.
Before opening to the public, Mr. Vice President, I would just like to make one announcement. I want to publicly congratulate and thank Mr. Charlie Carrabba for opening up the township gyms and staff to the young people of Carson Valley so that they could play basketball in order to get ready for the leagues this upcoming summer. That it was very invaluable. The young people at Carson Valley have really responded to the mentorship and also to the program that Mr. Carrabba has graciously allowed them to participate in. So I'd just like to make it a part of the public record. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any more questions or comments? Okay. Hearing no more questions from the floor, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
one opposed. I thought before the meeting would be ended that our solicitor would be addressing our neighbors on the upcoming litigation. I believe that we agreed this past Monday that before we went into our executive session, that our solicitor would address those neighbors that are here concerning the billboard issue.
Okay.
I'd be happy to. This Wednesday, I believe it is, I did not write down the exact time. There is, I think it's 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
There is a hearing scheduled in Norristown on what we all call the billboard issue. There are 3 items on the agenda before the court that morning. For all 3, the judge has allocated 2 hours. So that's all 3 together. He's allocated 2 hours. The 3 things are, number 1, our motion to rescind his order of last year, which changed the times that the 2 different billboard faces would be allowed to be operated. And that's number 1. Number 2 is a motion for sanctions filed by the billboard company against the township and against me personally for representing that there was authority for a settlement when the township is now taking the position that there isn't authority for the settlement. And then number 3 is my motion for sanctions against them, saying that their motion for sanctions was ridiculous. And of course, they say my motion for sanctions is ridiculous. So those are the 3 items. I don't believe there will be a great deal of testimony. There will be some testimony from the township manager, Mr. Berger, as to certain things that occurred, but mostly the November 7 meeting of this board, and which was a Monday, and the November 9 meeting of this board, which was a Wednesday, there's a verbatim transcript of both. In fact, there's a movie of or video of the 9th, and there is a transcript of the 7th. So there really isn't too much argument about who said what to whom or what was represented. So that is going to occur beginning at 10 o'clock. I think it's courtroom 13 in Norristown. Mostly I would believe that it will be legal argument, but there may be some testimony about, what happened or what I was thinking or what Don was thinking when he spoke to the commissioners, those types of things. But then mostly after that it'll be legal argument. I point this out only because this is not a hearing on the original motion filed by the township, which was to reform the settlement agreement that we entered into with MC Outdoor, because Mr. Thaddeus Barkowski had mentioned over and over and over that the signs would not be visible from anywhere except the cartway of Route 309 in both directions. And of course that never came to pass. And the sign is bright enough and high enough and not screened well enough that it's visible from quite a few houses. This Wednesday is not a hearing on that matter. That we have to get past this hearing to get a hearing on the big matter or the base matter that I just mentioned. So, Mr. Graham, is there anything else you wanted me to elaborate on?
Unless the neighbors themselves has any questions, I will definitely be at that hearing and will update the residents via the email as I had been doing in the past. If any concerns that you want to personally address me, you're more than welcome to either call me or email me, as you normally have done. Oh, definitely. I would encourage you.
I'm hoping there'll be a lot of neighbors.
Yeah, I would encourage you to attend.
Absolutely.
If I could ask, because of what maybe happened last time, if perchance there is some type of settlement discussion on the courthouse steps, as many times happens, what will be the procedure this time?
Well, this time I won't be entering into any settlement discussions because, number one, I don't think the MC Outdoor trusts us anymore with regard to settlement, and number two, because last time it backfired so badly that we're in this mess that we're in now. So if they make an offer, I'll certainly communicate it to the commissioners and to Mr. Berger, but I doubt that they will.
Thank you.
Further comment? Okay, we've had a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Please record a unanimous decision. Okay. Adjourn.